Hi everyone, thanks for coming back for part 5. I wanted to just back up a little bit and show you over here where it had the word rent in this table. And I want to show you Zechariah 14 so you can see how these terms relate to what's written in Zechariah 14. Okay, in Zechariah 14:4 it says, "And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, and the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south." And so I just want to go back to the table. I'm trying to find where it had the word rent. Okay, right here. And it had the word mount up here, and then right where it said fiery bolts went forth at his feet, he stood and measured the earth. And that's exactly where the word rent is coming up. I just thought that was really amazing. And then you also had words like cleave in the text, as well as the word midst came up a couple of times in the text. You see the word midst right here, and it's specifically talking about the midst of years. Jesus is going to come back in the midst of 7 years. And I also thought it was interesting how it said that the mountains split towards the east and towards the west, and I think I had tried the word west and that came up, so I want to try it again just to make sure. See, as you can see, west comes up as well, and the word rent was over here. I just replaced it with the word west. So it's going to cleave towards the east, towards the west, and you have the word cleave right here in the text. You have the word midst in the text. You have the word mountain in the text. And the word rent came up exactly where it talks about his feet standing and measuring the earth. And that also takes us back to Zechariah. This is in Zechariah 14, but if you go to Zechariah 4, it speaks of the very exact same thing, except in Zechariah 4, Jesus is measuring the earth. And it says, "For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth." And the plummet is used for measuring. It's a word that's used for measuring the temple, measuring the plumb line, the uprightness, which refers to the word ortho, and also just measuring the temple, because this is made up of 2 words. One is the plummet, and the other is referring to a measuring rod, just like the one in Revelation 11. And I don't want to get into all the details about the words that are used here in the Hebrew and in the Greek, but I've looked into this before, and this is something I may try to explain what all those words are and how it relates to Revelation 11. But obviously it goes on to talk about the 2 anointed ones, the 2 olive trees, and the 2 branches. So there's a direct parallel between Zechariah 4:11 and Revelation 11:4. They both speak of these four objects, the two olive trees and the two candlesticks, which make up two objects because there's two witnesses, and they are the two candlesticks and the two olive trees. And it talks about this in Revelation 4:11. In Revelation 11:4, and the parallel to that is Zechariah 4:11. But I don't want to get into too much detail about that right now, but I just wanted to point out that this is talking about measuring the mountain, because you saw over here it said, "Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone," which came up in the other table, and in this table the word stone came up, "thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it." So there seems to be a direct parallel with Zechariah 14, and this also parallels with the other table on Easter that I had done previously. And over here's where we had the word west, and in the next one I had the words water and life in this table. And if you go back to Zechariah 14, you see that once the mountain cleaves, it says, "And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal, yea, ye shall flee, like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee." And then those terms came up in the table. And then it goes on to say, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark." And it's talking about, in the table, it's talking about the sun and the moon standing still. "But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and winter shall it be." And summer and winter refer to the times of the harvest. If you look at the word summer, you see that it speaks of the summer fruit or the harvest. And then if you go to the word winter, you see that that's also speaking about the harvest time, because one side of the earth is having the autumn harvest, the fall harvest, or the winter harvest, and the other side of the earth is having the summer harvest, the spring and summer harvest. So those are the two harvests of the year. And the northern hemisphere has the spring and summer harvest in the spring, in our spring, and then the southern hemisphere has the fall harvest during our spring, and for them it's fall this time of year. So those are the two harvests. And so I'll just go on to the next table. In this one I had added the river of life, which is also talked about in Zechariah 14. And you see the word life over here in the green, the letters L-I-F-E. And you see the word river is in the plain text in the yellow. Okay, the next one, since the word white came up, I had tried to find other words that refer to white. I had put in stone earlier, and also tried the word robe, and that came up. And you see robe up here in the green with the letters R-O-B-E. And in this next one, I tried putting in the words lamp, lamps, full, and oil, and those words came up. You see lamp over here in the or actually lamps in the plural. It's in the yellow with the letters L, A, M, P, S. Oil crosses the word lamps. Of course, the lamps are the ones that contain oil, that contain the oil. And then you see the word full right here in the green. And then over here, I put in the words dawn and new age, which I had also put those terms in the previous table. I remember that one also had the word dawn, and that came up in ELS. You see new over here in the green. You see age in the burgundy. And you see dawn over here in the yellow with the letters D, A, W, N. Okay, this one, we had already gone over the word praise. And I also put in the words time and near. And you see time coming up in the green, the letters T, I, M, E. And you see God came crosses right through the word time. And then near comes up here in the burgundy with the letters N, E, A, R. And then the word coming, I believe, was in the plain text, right here in the green. And then I also tried putting in the word now, and that came up in the burgundy. Of course, and it's also touching against the word time, as in the time is now. Of course, no one knows the day or the hour. We do know it's near because of all the signs and everything happening in the world. And these tables seem to confirm that the brightness of his coming is near. This table seems to talk about the coming of the Lord and salvation, as well as the wrath of God and anger and the tribulation. So it does seem to speak of all these things that are approaching, and all the signs seem to be pointing to the time being very near. This is definitely a high watch time, and especially Easter Sunday would be a very high watch day, being also the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So any of these days, any moment, it could happen. There's no telling when the day or the hour is. So we just need to stay prepared, be on high alert during this season. You also see the word tents here, which also alludes to the Exodus, when they dwelt in booths at the time of the Exodus. So like I said, we need to stay in prayer, watch and pray, as Jesus said. Stay alert, keep watching, keep looking up, for our redemption draws nigh. God bless you, and thanks for watching. Bye.